What's up, guys? We got another game against Hungard from America, 2055. Playing some strong people here. In this game, we had 90% accuracy. He had 84. We got the win, but in the next game, I actually happened to get him again, and he actually won, and he had the 90% accuracy, and I had the 82. So it's pretty funny how our roles reversed. This game was crazy though. Super theoretical Grunfeld into a crazy endgame. So if you don't know what the Grunfeld is, d4, c4. He brings the knight out, develops the bishop. And immediately strikes the center with d5. I go down this theory, main line. I develop the knight, he develops the bishop, applying pressure, and now I take. So now, super long line of forced moves. So I took a pawn, so now he wants to recapture, right? Now, he's giving me the option to take the full center. So I take the full center and hit the knight. He doesn't want to lose time retreating the knight. So he plays a forcing move, taking my knight. I have to recapture, so now I have this structure. He has pressure here and here. How do you increase that pressure? Well, immediately breaking it down. Well, not immediately. Castling first. I'm not sure of the exact line, but castling first is always safer, of course. I don't know what happens if you play c5 immediately there. You could try it for yourself. Now I add extra protection to the square, which I know he's going to hit with moves like this and this. So now he hits the center with c5. And there's a lot of attackers on it, but there's a lot of defenders on it. So I move my queen up. I defend this pawn. I defend this bishop. I create a battery. I open space for the rook. And this also defends against queen a5. So again, this is still theory. It's a long force line. He goes queen a5, applying the pressure we were talking about, and then getting ready to bring a rook over. So he's just really hammering my dark squares here. I bring this rook over, which applies pressure down the c file, helps protect the c pawn, always useful. Develops the rook and can coordinate on the c file with pieces in the future. So black recaptures, white recaptures, opening a file for the rook, also exposing the queens to each other. He trades the queens, and now we take with the knight. So we can, if we take with the bishop, you're undefending this pawn. Seems a little weird because he's going to keep attacking it. Whereas with this, that sounds weird because you're undefending it here too. But if you left it here, it is a defender, yes. But if you leave it here, it can be attacked and you're forced to move it anyway. So you might as well move it now. And now his bishop can just walk into f3. There's nothing there. And this knight can go here to defend it. Okay, so he plays this move. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe it was to set up extra protection on d5 square. But now I shift my knight over here to defend, where it cannot be harassed. Although now it can't be harassed either way. But now I also have the f pawn open. He goes to fianchetto or maybe to trade bishops. I'm not sure which idea he's going for. But so far, everything he's done makes perfect sense. I play f3 and I develop. That way this fianchetto doesn't actually matter that much. This is being stopped and I seem to be enjoying my position. He develops his knight here, which I guess he's going to jump here. And also defends the infiltration square, I guess. My bishop can't really develop anywhere but these two squares. So I just chose the one with, you know, a more obvious diagonal. So of course he's going to develop his bishop to his obvious diagonal. We're all just playing very obvious moves. I castle, another very obvious moves. Now he brings a rook over to try to apply pressure here, but I'm not sure he can add any more pressure to that, right? Like he would have to double rooks again. It's never really gonna work. So maybe he should abandon that. I'm not sure. I play rook f2 so that I can double, and it just looks fancier lifting this rook instead of the c rook. Now he can test the c file, and now I double. He trades a pair of rooks. Now I'm controlling the c file. He contests it. I take. He takes. And now things are pretty even. I just improve my king because it's hard to go wrong when that's your idea. But now he jumps his knight in and starts harassing me. It's pretty annoying. Now my a pawn is hanging. So I go a4. I don't even kick the knight because if I kick the knight, he's gonna go here with this and this. So I just bypass it immediately. Support the bishop. He jumps there anyway, but at least now he's not hitting the pawn. I decide to let him take my bishop. Probably not the best idea. But this pawn is hanging if I move the bishop, right? So like if I just go somewhere random, he can take the middle pawn. But I should probably just play a bishop endgame down a pawn rather than lose my light square bishop, because it's easy to draw with the like with one pair of bishops each. But in this case, I push my pawn. He recaptured in the center. I recapture. Now I have this loose, isolated pawn, but maybe it's defensible. But now he takes my bishop. I take back with my king, saying, "Okay, you got my bishop, but at least I'm the one recapturing, and I'm getting closer to the center in this endgame." But now he centralizes his bishop with a threat. I block it with a tempo. Now he blockades my pawn, and this dark square bishop, that's why I need one, because it's so strong. Look at that. I mean, it's doing so much. So I push my pawn. I want to liquidate as much as possible. I want to get as many pawns off the board as possible. He counter strikes my bishop, which I was like, oops. Because now I have to move my bishop, and now he can get it past pawn, which he does. Fine. I don't really have much to do. I want to improve my king, so I have to defend this pawn, which is what I do. He improves his king, I improve my king, he improves his king, and now I improve my knight, saying, hey, if you want to take this, I'll happily take your bishop. Otherwise, I have pressure against this pawn. So it's still pretty even. He retreats his bishop to pressure this pawn. It looks like a very natural move. Nothing wrong with it. Why is that lines on? I go in all for a bishop trade, because if he trades bishops, takes, knight takes, it defends this pawn. And then maybe I could bring my king in and push or something. I don't even know. He does take. I do take. But the problem is this knight is on the wrong side. Like if it was here defending, it would be completely safe. But he plays f6. he had a winning move there. It was bishop b8. Getting on this diagonal. Oh, and hunting. Wow. That's cool. I did not see that. I guess I could interpose this. But after takes, I have to babysit the b pawn. Yikes. So he missed it and played f6. I moved my king in. What's more natural than king c5? Saying I'm just going to come in here and harass your stuff and take your stuff. And then I could bring my knight back through c5 if I need to defend. I have a minute on my clock, so again, I'm not calculating an entire endgame here. I'm making natural moves. King c5 looks natural. I mean, it's not like I have any, like, you might as well leave this stuff. Yeah, so there's not much to do. So king c5 looks very natural. But he blocks me from coming in, which is very smart, of course. And now I push the pawn, knowing he can't take it because I'll take it, right? So he has to move his bishop. He only has 2 squares. If he goes to b8, he's no longer pressuring my pawn, so my knight feels relieved of its duty, even though he can't move because it's stuck. And if he goes to d8, which is what he did in the game, then I kind of move my king and put him in this weird zugzwang position because his bishop doesn't have any legal moves. His king doesn't want to move because I'll infiltrate on the other way, which will help push my pawn. If you push this, I can just hunt it probably, or I can hunt this and take this and then take this. So now he could move these pawns, but I'll eventually just block them and he'll be in zugzwang again. So now he moves his king, which gives me, he has to keep the bishop defended. So now I have an avenue to get in. Now he just, out of pure desperation, because I'm about to check him and take the bishop, he just gets a pawn for his trouble. But I throw in this intermezzo check because it's genius. He's forced to go here. Now I take the bishop, which was controlling the queening square. I'm going to get a queen next. He resigns. And that was just a crazy, crazy Grunfeld game. But I do not like going down these lines. I don't like having to play against the Grunfeld. So instead of knight c3, I'm gonna go like bishop f4 and knight f3, because if he goes here and I take and he takes and I push, he won't have the knight. I'll have to, like, I don't know, retreat. Then I'll develop the knight and he'll feel stupid. So that's the plan. No more Grunfelds. Although I have Grunfelds in my upcoming videos. At the end of those videos, no more Grunfelds. Okay, well, we got this win against Hungard. We stole a bunch of points. Strong player. He was super strong, which you'll see in the next game when he crushes me. So we're going to keep climbing. 2100 anti-Grunfeld.